So, it's been a week, and I have been able to finish a few drafts of the short. Yeah, still called Eulogy. Where were we? Okay, so the last time I kind of made this kind of video on the short. I talked about how I kind of themed out the characters to be different aspects of everybody of themed out the characters to be different aspects of what the point is of this whole short. And then I also talked about how I chapters themed chapters, which are scenes or sequences. I themed them so that each one has a very specific point that that says something about the overall theme. And together, these little parts, these little sequences and dynamics about the characters come together to make to be the bigger part of what everything is. So that's where I'm at, and I was able to finish a few drafts. I'm still waiting on feedback from a few people. So far, pretty positive, pretty darn positive, which is very good. The rhythm seems to flow well. The odd bits of humor that I put in there seems to be working, and the way that the humor is counterbalanced by the very sad, dramatic nature of this short highlights it. So I think that works really well also. Excuse me. I'm not sure. You know, I think I try to doubt myself a lot so that I can try to see all the holes that I have. I don't really know what the reactions are going to be from everybody. I just know that so far, at the moment, they're positive, very positive. Some things that they liked were the fake out to the hardest moment of the entire short. So one of the things that I like about writing and in my style, I create this outline. But what I do enjoy, like when I'm writing itself, is that I'm allowing myself to move away from the outline if I need to, and really discover moments that weren't planned. I try to listen to my characters, and to see what is pulling them to a different direction that maybe I didn't even expect. So as I'm writing, I write as the character and try to write as what they are doing and feeling emotionally. And so little surprises pop up. And there's this really neat little surprise in a kitchen that pops up that's kind of funny. And it's kind of a mean trick because it's a funny moment, and it kind of opens up the person reading to like, okay, maybe he's starting to get better, before I hit him with the hardest punch of the entire short that really knocks him and the reader down. And so that kind of rhythm and flow really demonstrates how well so far I've been able to execute the whole humor, not comedy, humor to really highlight what happens afterwards. And so I really like that was able to stand out. I like that because it's only one person, there's a focus on physicality and motion, and that is how the emotion is going to come out, and I think that's really exciting. That seems to be working really well. A lot of these little small physical things that are happening in it, people have been picking up, and they're just like, wow, those are one of my favorite moments. The small kind of quiet, like moving things that he's doing, where you can see him where you can really examine him emotionally as he's just doing something. So I'm happy with that, and I'm still really curious because I've gotten feedback and people really like the ending that happens on the outside of the apartment, and I'm still curious of what people will think about it, because it is kind of an oddball ending where you have all this drama, you have all this pull and tug of emotion and tension inside, and then suddenly, he like gets a moment to kind of remind himself what's at stake and what his brother stood for. And so for him to go outside and to start sprinting until he starts laughing and like celebrating, like that's really it's really an oddball choice. And I know it was, and I know it is. And I just wanted to drive it emotionally and physically. And so far people really like it, but I'm still want to hear more back from people. So now it really is the waiting game. I still probably want to wait another like a week or two before I move forward. But right now, this is like the part where I have a lot of anxiety, not because of the feedback itself. Yeah, of course, I'm always a little nervous. I'm always nervous about getting feedback, but the anxiety about like, I want to work more. I want to go forward. I want to do the next thing. Excuse me. And the next thing would be shot listing. But at the moment I can't do that because I need more feedback. I really don't know like what I'm waiting for in terms of how much feedback I want to get, because I only have so many resources in terms of friends willing to read it and people able to read it and people who have the time to have a kind of a Q&A between us. Like, I would rather call and talk to them. But written notes is great as well. So it's hard to find that group of friends, and also people that are writers themselves, or even in the same style of writing in terms of like, screenplay writing and film writing and television writing. Because I have a lot of writer friends, but they're more short stories, novel writing, or they do it in their spare time. And so, it's always interesting because they look at it differently than how I look at scripts when I read them. Because I have a film, kind of presence of mind when I'm breaking down a script. So I don't know. All that stuff kind of makes it kind of nebulous. The time that I have to wait before I get to move forward. But usually, like after maybe like a dozen or so, maybe a little bit less, you at least start to get a vibe of how people are really meshing with it. And so far, it's really positive, really exciting. I like that they've all said that this is like a roller coaster of emotion. How it's silly a few times, but then it gets very poignant and sad at other times. So it's really it's always nice to see how they kind of they're just like, oh man, that totally fucked with me. What are you doing? So I don't know. It's really not much to say this time, but looking great. In the meantime, obviously I'm gonna try writing on a couple of other projects that I should start writing, and also getting back to editing some other projects. Though I'm going to take it a little bit easy just because, I went so hard on this one where I've been doing like 5-6 hour days after getting out of work just to write this short or explore the world or create outlines or whatever. So, yeah, and also just taking the time to watch movies. I don't watch a lot of movies, honestly, which is really weird. You would think someone who likes something and wants to do that thing would participate in that a lot, but I don't. I don't know why. So I've been trying to watch at the very least a movie a day, and I carve out a time so I can watch that and then get back to writing afterwards, and give myself a little bit of relaxed time because I did push myself real hard for these past few weeks. So yeah, now it's just a waiting game. I don't really know how long the next video will be or when that will be, because now I've just got to wait. I'll probably update it as I'm doing the shot listing, but this is how the process goes. A lot of waiting after you do all this hard work. You just got to wait for shit to happen. I want things to happen now. Why did I pick an art form where I got to wait so much? Anyway, thanks everybody. Just a short little update. Hopefully this movie comes out good. Hopefully I can make it. Hopefully people still like the script. Hopefully I can talk to more people. Of course, if anybody wants to read it, to give me feedback, just send me a message and DM me on Instagram, on Facebook, on whatever. But thanks everybody.